Hello, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. Tennille Richardson Kwamina, CEO and Clinical Director at New Creations Caribbean, also known as Acropolis New Creations Caribbean Limited, where we provide innovative solutions for your mental and behavior health. Today, we are Ready, Set, Succeed, focusing on a family approach to back-to-school success. As we all know, the back-to-school period can be both exciting and challenging for families. This transition comes with its own set of emotional, mental, and logistical hurdles. Today, we're going to focus on how families can approach this time collaboratively, supporting each other, and building a foundation for success. We'll cover emotional preparation, effective communication, establishing routines, building resilience, and how to support academic and social success. By the end of this presentation, you'll have practical strategies to help your family thrive during this school year. Let's start off by discussing the emotional transition that comes with going back to school. For many children, this time brings a mix of excitement and also anxiety. Some common stressors for our kids can be separation anxiety. This is usually more for our younger children who may feel anxious about being away from their parents or their home environment. Social pressure, where our kids worry about making new friends, fitting in, or dealing with peer pressure and bullying, can be significant stressors. Academic expectations, fear of not meeting those expectations or possibly struggling with new subjects can also cause anxiety. Adjusting to new routines. This transition from the relaxed schedule over the summer to the more structured routine, more demands, more accountability that is involved with school can be difficult. The fear of the unknown, concerns about new teachers, classrooms, maybe even a different school, new classmates, all the uncertainty of what to expect for this school year. There's also performance anxiety, stress related to tests, presentations, and other performance-based activities and requirements of school. Extracurricular demands. Balancing schoolwork with sports, clubs, or other activities can sometimes be overwhelming for our kids. Body image and self-esteem. Concerns about appearance, especially for older children and teenagers, can be a source of stress. As parents, it's important for us to recognize these feelings in our children, but we also have to recognize them in ourselves. And there are some challenges for us when it comes to starting the school year as well. Logistical planning, organizing all those schedules, the pickup, the drop-off times, managing extracurricular activities. At times, all of those moving pieces and parts can be overwhelming. There's the financial aspect, purchasing school supplies, clothes, school fees, uniforms, or extracurricular activities can be a financial stress as well. Managing time, balancing our work responsibilities with supporting our children's school needs, such as helping with homework or attending school events or sporting events. It's very important for us to do that as parents. Our children definitely look for us in the audience. Academic pressure, concerns about our children's academic performance, their desire to help them succeed and be successful in their grades and their tests can create pressure on us as parents as well. Emotional well-being of the child, worrying about the child's ability to adjust socially, emotionally, and academically in the new school year. The change in routine, just as our kids, it takes us some time to adjust to that routine after being a little more flexible over the summer. Communicating with teachers, navigating relationships with teachers, staying on top of our kids' progress and any issues that could come up can also be a source of stress. Health and safety. Concerns about our children's health, especially in a school setting, exposure to illnesses, or possibly managing their allergies. So as you see, there's a lot of common signs of anxiety and stress in our children and ourselves. When it comes to our kids, we want to make sure we're looking out for 3 key things that could indicate to us that we may need to jump in and provide some support or maybe get some additional help for our kids. All of this anxiety can show up in our kids as changes in their appetite, difficulty sleeping, whether that's going to sleep and or staying asleep, or possibly getting up and starting the day, irritability, or you may see them withdraw from activities that they usually enjoy. So looking for these changes gives us an idea of the level of all of this stress and anxiety, how it may really be impacting our children. So we want to understand these signs as the first step in providing some additional support they may need at the time. The power of family support. Research shows that family support plays a crucial role in a child's academic and social success. When parents are actively involved in their child's education, children tend to perform better in school, and they feel more confident and secure. A supportive home helps children develop resilience and a positive attitude towards learning. It's not just about helping with homework, even though that is a big part of our responsibility. It's about creating a space where children feel safe to express their concerns, ask questions, and explore new ideas. So today we'll talk a little bit more about how we can foster this supportive atmosphere. We want to start by looking at our communication skills, making sure we are building open lines of communication. Effective communication is the cornerstone of a supportive family environment. It's important to create an atmosphere where children feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and their feelings. Start by asking open-ended questions. So one of the things I'm going to encourage you as parents today is let's get away from that default question, how was your day? As you can probably remember in previous times where you may have asked that question, you get a response that kind of looks like this. It was okay. It was good. It was all right. But not really giving details about how their day really was. So to get at that, we want to ask more specific questions. We also want to, and we'll talk about those questions here in a little bit. We want to make sure as parents we're actively listening, giving your undivided attention by putting down your phone, facing them, looking your children in the eye when you ask this question and you wait for their response. Show empathy and validate their feelings without judgment. Encourage self-expression and reassure your child that it's okay to feel anxious or uncertain. This approach not only strengthens your relationship, but it also helps your child develop their communication skills. One of the things I encourage all my clients to do when they come to therapy and they're working to connect with their children and building in a relationship is remember this saying, connection before correction. All right, say it with me. Connection before correction. That is saying that before we correct our children, before we discipline them, before we redirect them, we want to make sure that we're spending some time connecting with them. Build that relationship. When we just correct without connection, our kids have the tendency not to really hear what it is that we're trying to say. They may not understand that what we are discussing with them comes from a place of love, support, caring. That connection helps to foster. So another challenge that I want to encourage everyone to do is the 15-minute challenge. Try and carve out 15 minutes before school and 15 minutes before they go to bed. And I say 15 minutes because I know all of us have very demanding schedules, a lot of moving parts that we're trying to navigate. But if we take this technique, we are carving out 30 minutes a day for our children to check in with them, to connect with them, to maybe give them some positive affirmations to the start of their day, to maybe pray with them before they leave for school. And the same at the end of the day, asking those open-ended questions, finding out what's going on in their day. And even if you have the opportunity, try and maybe having those 15 minutes at the dinner table, connecting while everyone is eating. Now, I know sometimes we can't always do this with after-school activities and schedules and traffic and all of those things, but here are some ideas to offer to you all to get in those 15 minutes in the beginning of the day, 15 minutes at the end of the day, to do that connection before correction. So remember how I was encouraging you all to not use that default question, how was your day? Here's some examples of some things that we could say. What made you smile today? What was the best thing that happened at school today? What was the worst thing that happened at school today? Tell me something that made you laugh today. What was the book about that your teacher read? Can you tell me an example of kindness that you saw or maybe that you showed yourself? If you could choose who you would like to sit by in class, who would that person be and why? Who would you not want to sit by in class? And this question is important as it gives us some clues to some of those peer relations that, as parents, we sometimes get concerned about. Did you learn something that you didn't understand today? That gives us an opportunity maybe to support them in their academic understanding. What's the biggest difference between this year and last year? Here's some more. Tell me something I don't know. Who did you sit by at lunch today? What did you talk about? Can you show me something you learned today? Did anyone do anything silly that made you laugh? And I like this one because it's lighthearted. It's not about academic success and progress. It's not too much about peer relations. It's just something that maybe you could laugh and join in with your children on that. What part of school is your favorite? What was the most interesting / funny thing that your teacher said today? And this gives us some clues into the teacher's personality and maybe how the teacher interacts with the class and our children. What class rules does your teacher say are important? Did you help anyone today? Tell me one interesting fact about your teacher. Notice again, we're asking some questions to see how they're connecting with their teacher. What's your favorite time of day at school? And here are a couple more. Rate your day on a scale from 1 to 10. Now we have to make sure we let them know which one is highest. Usually I say 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. But make sure you say that so everybody's on the same page about how we're navigating these numbers. And sometimes 1 to 10 may be too nuanced for our younger kids. For our younger kids, maybe you want to say 1 to 5. Rate your day from 1 to 5, with 5 being the best day ever and 1 being not so great. What are you looking forward to tomorrow? Did you get frustrated with anything at school today? What is your least favorite part of the school building? So now we're asking questions about their environment. And also, what is their favorite? Tell me about a new word that you heard at school today. So those are just some ideas that you could use to ask something other than, how was school today? Setting up for success. Routines provide a sense of security and help reduce anxiety. And remember, if you attended any of our Wellness Wednesdays before, anxiety is really rooted in future unknowns, being concerned about the future. So one of the ways that we can counter anxiety and those unknowns in the future is by routines. They make exceptions clear. They establish consistent morning and evening routines. Remember, we talked about our 15-minute challenge to help manage not only our children's time effectively, but also our time as well. For example, you might set aside time each evening for homework, followed by a relaxing bedtime routine. Creating a dedicated homework space can also make a big difference. It should be quiet, free from distractions, and well organized. And this helps our kids focus and develop good study habits. So we not always want to focus on the routine, but also the environment as well. Posting a schedule after you sit with your children and create it, posting it above their study area or maybe somewhere in their room or maybe in their notebook, somewhere where they can see it easily and know that at this particular time, The expectation is for me to do this. At this time, after dinner, I have the opportunity to do fill in the blank. It really does help decrease the anxiety, not only for our children, but also for ourselves as well. Another aspect of having a successful school year is making sure that we're working to build resilience in our children. This is essential for helping them navigate some challenges that they may face in school. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and adapt to new situations. One way to foster resilience is by teaching problem-solving skills. Encourage your child to think through challenges and come up with solutions. Sometimes we can give them affirmations to say, like, I'm strong, I can handle this. I learn and grow from my mistakes. Every day is a new chance to try again. I believe in myself and my abilities. We want to promote a growth mindset by praising effort rather than just results, and teach them that mistakes are opportunities to learn. And as parents, we also make mistakes. So we have to make sure that we are modeling resilience in our own behavior. Show them how to handle stress and setbacks with a positive attitude. Navigating social dynamics. Social dynamics can be particularly challenging for children, especially when starting a new school year. They may face peer pressure, bullying, cyberbullying, or difficulty making friends. As parents, we can help our children navigate these situations by teaching empathy, social skills, active listening. Remember how we talked about active listening and what that looks like in a few slides before, and assertiveness. It can be helpful to role play different social scenarios, allowing children to practice their responses to various situations. And also, too, this cuts down on that anxiety, that future unknown that we talked about. If we give them the opportunity to practice, they begin to develop the script in their head. They begin to visualize how they can respond to some of the social dynamics that they may face. It's also important to discuss how to handle bullying or exclusion and encourage them to seek help from trusted adults when needed. One of the ways that I teach my younger clients how to deal with bullying, this is just a short, quick tip, is to help them understand that their response feeds the bully. So if they're able to practice self-regulating skills, breathing, separating themselves from the situation, notifying an adult when needed, and not to show the bully that whatever it is that they're saying or doing is getting to them. A lot of times the bully runs out of steam and they stop because they're not getting the result that they want. But if you have someone, a child or you as a parent trying to figure out how to navigate bullying and especially cyberbullying, because cyberbullying is a whole different thing than us parents grew up with. It's 24-hour access to our children, and we have to be mindful of how we address that. It's not just the bullying that we may have experienced on the playground or after school. Bullying pops up in their emails and their WhatsApp groups and their social media. So there are different techniques that we have to make sure that we use when it comes to bullying, and we definitely can provide some support with that. But as parents, we have to be very aware that cyberbullying is a real thing, and we have to address it as serious as we would face-to-face or in real life bullying. Supporting academic success. This step involves more than just overseeing homework. It's about fostering a love for learning and curiosity. Encourage your child to ask questions and explore subjects that interest them. Take time to identify their learning style. So as parents, this is part of our responsibility to take a step back, be observant, and see how our children learn the best. Do they learn from visual aids? Is it drawing something out? Is it creating a chart? Are they an auditorial learner? Do they learn by hearing someone read or hearing someone describe a particular topic? Are they a kinetic learner? Are they hands-on? Do they need to do experiments or be able to take the learning aspect into a physical way where maybe they could move their body and maybe go on a walk and learn about, let's say they're learning trees, going for a walk and being able to identify trees right there, hands-on, being able to touch the tree, see the tree, some of that kinetic learning. Be aware of any learning challenges they may face and work with their teachers to address them early. Remember, it's important to balance academic expectations with mental health. We want to, as much as possible, try to avoid putting too much pressure on grades and instead focus on the joy of learning. Celebrate small achievements along the way and build up their confidence by acknowledging those small achievements. Now, as parents, we have to remember that we have to take care of ourselves as well. If we're not at the best self that we can be in the moment, we're not able to give our kids all the support, guidance, insight that they need, setting up their home environment for studying, all that success prep that we talked about in the previous slides. Parental self-care is crucial for maintaining a supportive environment at home. When parents are stressed or overwhelmed, it can infect the entire family dynamic. So we want to make sure that we're taking time for ourselves. Now, that could look different for different parents. Some of us, exercise may be helpful in terms of self-care, hobbies, maybe spending time with friends, or one of my secret tips that I share with my clients. Try to do one small thing for yourself a day. So if that's listening to your favorite song, reading your favorite scripture, maybe getting a little snack for yourself, taking a small walk, calling a really good friend, or watching that favorite show. Try and do at least one small thing that you like. That is part of your self-care every day. Self-care doesn't have to be this big, grandiose going to the spa or going on vacation. It doesn't always have to be those, because realistically, we may not always have the time, mental, physical, financial capacities. Those are our 4 resources that are limited. We may not have the resources at that time to always do those big, grandiose things. But that does not mean as parents we can't find some small way to take care of ourselves on a daily basis. We want to make sure that we're modeling self-care and stress management, because it shows our children the importance of looking after their own mental health. Remember, they're watching what we do and they're listening to what we say, but they watch what we do more than they listen to what we say. So we have to remember that as parents. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take breaks when needed. A healthy, balanced parent is better equipped to support our children. So remember how they always tell us when we're flying on the airplane, the stewardess always says, put your mask on first before you help your child put on their mask. One of the tips that I give families in finding time for self-care and balancing, taking time to spend time for yourself, your family, all your friends, all of that. One way to balance this is to split each weekend of the month. One weekend for yourself, one weekend for the family, one weekend for the kids, one weekend for your support system, whether that's your friends or your spouse. But being able to look at that and say, all right, the first weekend, that one goes to me. I'm going to fill my cup up first. The second weekend, that goes to the family. Third weekend, maybe if you have, more than one child, you can say, all right, the third weekend of each month gets rotated between each child, because it is very important as parents for us to have one-on-one time with our children as well. So maybe the third weekend is for the kid that is up that month, for that parent one-on-one time. And again, the fourth one could be with your support system, whether that's friends or your spouse. So, putting it all together, creating a family success plan is a great way to set goals and expectations for the school year. We want to make sure that we're involving our children in the planning process. As parents, we don't want to just do all of this. We want to get their input. One, because we might be thinking of a particular thing that we think is important for our children, and they may have some insight into something that may be important to them that we may have missed. And two, it's important for our children to be involved in the planning of their schedule, setting up their home study environment, all of these things, because when they're involved, that elicits accountability. That gives them the opportunity to feel that they have some autonomy in this process. And they won't just feel like, oh, mom just did this for me or dad just did this for me and I just have to do it because they said so. We get a different type of buy-in when our children are involved in the planning process. We want to be mindful about setting realistic and achievable goals. We want to set our children up for both academic and personally. We want to set them up for success. Outline the steps that are needed to reach the goals that you all define are important for the school year. We want to do regular family check-ins. This could help track progress and provide an opportunity to adjust the plan if needed. So whether that meeting is once a month, once every couple of weeks, once a week, We want to make sure that we're checking in with each other on those goals. And remember, flexibility is key. Be prepared to adapt as circumstances change. As you know, life is always lifing. So we have to have a spirit of flexibility to maybe go in and make some adjustments when needed. Now, that ensures that the plan remains supportive and achievable at the same time. Okay, so pick a day, time block that time out. Maybe it's Sundays. Out of my families choose Sundays to do their family meetings or their family check-ins. But make sure you pick a day that can set you up for consistently having the family meetings on a regular basis. We don't want to pick a day or time that is usually busy. We want to be mindful of when we set that time. So when it comes to resources and support, there are a lot of places that we can find help. There are many resources available to help you and your child navigate the school year. School counselors and teachers are great allies in supporting your child's academic and social development. They get excited when they see parents that are involved and ask questions and want to be part of that team for your children's academic success that year. Also, there are additional community mental health services like us at New Creations Caribbean. We have books, there are online resources that are always available. I always call it Google University. And remember, if you notice those few signs that we talked about, your children are having problems with their sleeping, their appetite, their irritability, or they're having mood swings, or you find that they're not interested in things that they used to be interested in, remember, we're looking for those signs. So if you notice some of those signs of distress, or if challenges arise, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Taking advantage of available resources is a proactive step. Remember, we like to be proactive versus reactive. Let's jump in there and take care of some of these challenges early. We want to take that proactive step in supporting our family's well-being. So we've covered a lot today, and I hope you found some useful strategies to help your family succeed this school year. Now, I'd like to open the floor for questions, discussions. There may be some ways you can reach out to us in this recording, maybe post some questions, and we can definitely get back to you. Also, here is our contact information at New Creations Caribbean. We have our phone number, our email, our website as well, and our address. Feel free to share your thoughts, concerns, or experiences with us, and give us a call if you find that we can support you in this or any other mental and behavior challenges you or a loved one may be experiencing. Now, you don't have to be shy. You can take this opportunity not only to support yourself and your family, but encourage others to join us on Wellness Wednesdays to get some tips on how they can support themselves and their family as well. And maybe share some of the information and the tips that you got today with your community. And as always, if you need some support, whether that's individual, couples, family, or even corporate therapy as well, reach out to us, give us a call. Let's start that connection. As always, I thank everyone for making it through our presentation this evening, being proactive, putting some of these things in place, and taking care of not only yourself, but your children during this school year as well. I wish you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye for now.